The gentlewoman is recognized.
I rise in strong support of H.R. 4176, the LGBTQI+ Data Inclusion Act. This historic bill takes the long overdue step of ensuring that federal agencies collect data on sexual orientation, gender identity, and variation in sex characteristics so that the federal government can better understand and serve America's LGBTQI+ communities. We are considering this legislation at a critical time across the United States. The rights of LGBTQI people are under attack, and the health and safety of LGBTQI+ people are under threat. From the limited data currently available, we understand that LGBTQI+ people disproportionately experience poverty, housing insecurity, adverse physical and mental outcomes, discrimination, and more. For example, according to the Williams Institute, more than 1 in 5 LGBTQI+ people live in poverty. According to the American Psychiatric Association, LGBTQI people are 2.5 times more likely to experience depression, anxiety, and substance abuse than people who are heterosexual. There is also an epidemic of violence against transgender and gender nonconforming people across the U.S., an epidemic that killed more than 50 people last year. The LGBTQI+ Data Inclusion Act, introduced by my friend and chair of the Natural Resources Committee, Raul Grijalva, would close many long-standing gaps in the collection of data pertaining to our nation's LGBTQI+ communities. By ensuring that federal surveys collect data on sexual orientation, gender identity, and variations in sex characteristics, this bill will equip Congress and federal agencies with the information they need to better understand the specific challenges faced by the LGBTQI communities and help us develop equitable policy solutions. This bill currently has 128 co-sponsors. The legislation has also received overwhelming support from more than 200 civil rights, health, and scientific organizations and the LGBTQ+ Equality Caucus. This bill builds on the Biden administration's efforts to advance equity for LGBTQI+ populations, including by empowering federal agencies to carry out the President's recently announced executive order to expand the collection of federal data pertaining to LGBTQI people. The Biden administration issued a statement of administration policy that strongly supports passage of this bill, and I ask unanimous consent to make it part of the record.
Without objection.
Importantly, under this bill, answering questions about one's sexual orientation, gender identity, and variations in sex characteristics would be entirely voluntary, and the bill also includes strong confidentiality and privacy protections. The design of the bill strikes a necessary balance between informing policy making and protecting the personal information of LGBTQI+ people across the country. Before I conclude, let me take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the House taking this historic step during Pride Month, a celebration of immeasurable contributions made by LGBTQI+ people in every aspect of American life, a reminder of our continued mission to ensure that every community in the United States is treated with equality and respect. I urge my colleagues to support this bill, and I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentlelady reserves.